Like, okay, so I just, like the thing you just said, I release the expectations of others, is so freeing. But how do you get there? Because we're so tied to others' opinions and judgments and acceptance of others. So how did you get to that place where you release that?
Let me go back a little bit in terms of when I was in school. I was what I was telling my best friend this morning. I call it the ugly duckling syndrome, where I was not the one that was chosen. I was not the one that was the likely to have this or achieve that. And for a very long time, I walked with what people thought about me on my shoulders. And it has creeped into, even because with my first son, I still had it where, I had the parenting styles of maybe my mother and my father, what I saw when I was growing up. And then it hit me one day, because I have 4 now, and my husband, he's also in the Army. So I've had a lot of time away from my husband, and I had to deal with the children on my own. So I remembered, because my mom has two of us, which would be my sister and myself. And we are girls, and my sister, she loves to read and maybe watch television and stuff like that. So she was quiet in her corner, and I was quiet in my corner doing my craft activities, So it was like, these are well-behaved young ladies, and they're doing their thing. And then I had 4 sons. And then I always
That's
wanted
a really different energy in the house.
This is a different energy. I've always wanted to keep my house the exact same way how I grew up seeing my house. But then it hit me one day. Your mom had 2 children. Your mom had 2 girls that, they weren't messy. They were able to do, how girls are versus boys. Girls are just, could handle in a corner. And then I said to myself, I have boys. I have boys who are always into something. They're always exploring. They're always digging up. They're always pulling apart. So once I realized that, yes, as simple or as silly as it may sound, once I realized and I connected, you have boys, then you need to stop comparing. And you need to stop comparing yourself to your mother, who had 2 girls, and the personality of her 2 girls, it was nothing like the 4 boys. So then I said to my husband, I'm finished with the showroom condition home syndrome that I may have, where I needed everything to be perfect and in place. We left that. We got rid of that. And that is where the releasing started for me, because then I tapped into the fact that this is what works for me. This is my dynamic. This is what works for me. I am going with what works for me. It is okay to consume or have the opinion of others occasionally. And I'm a Christian, and as my Bible says, seek wise counsel. And in seeking wise counsel, if your thoughts and your attitude isn't lining up with where I'm going in terms of my vision and my goal, then we have nothing more to talk about. I mean, I'm not wasting my energy on trying to get across a point to you that, you're just not in the space for me to, share with you. Another thing that I hold on to too, seasons. I liken seasons, and again, my Bible talks about seasons, where I liken persons to seasons where there's spring, there's winter, there's autumn, there's summer. No, your spring friend may not be the friend that you need, or business partner or client for the winter season that you're experiencing. So once I realized that, some people can't go everywhere that you're going. Yep. You're gonna let some stuff go. That's a big part of the balance, because we think that it's just, okay, business and children and family, and we have too much access. It is not I'm not saying that you don't have the occasional issue in your family or in your business that needs to be dealt with. Maybe one would pull you from the other sometimes. However, I think our biggest frustrations come from all the outside factors.
Yep. All the pressure from the outside, all the pressure of what others' expectations are of you. The thing that you touched on that I teach to parents that I'm working with is, and you didn't say this literally, but you said it in a roundabout way, is when you said to yourself, I've got boys, like, this is my situation. the situation I grew up in was different. And that's just acceptance. It's like acceptance of what is. And then once you step into that place of acceptance, it's like, I could let go of all my other expectations about the way I think it should be. And I could just be with how it actually is. And that's so freeing.
Take it one step at a time. Again, I'm also guilty of in the earlier years where I needed to have stuff done now, and I wanted success now. And again, I was carrying the expectations of others' success. So success for others, which I started to absorb, was like, I'm having all this money, I'm filthy rich, and I'm doing this and I'm here and I'm there and I'm everywhere. That's what success was by the world standard. And I'm like, okay, I need to define success for myself. And let me tell you what success is for me as a mom of four,
I want to know.
An early childhood educator. My husband
and an entrepreneur.
And an entrepreneur.
You're like a single mom. Yeah.
Sometimes, So for me, getting up and having a bath on time, that's success.
Yeah.
Completing one task on my to-do list, that's my success. So it's refreshing and freeing. And I know it's hard. Some persons aren't always able to do this, but I have determined that enough is enough. I am failing trying to live up to your standards, and I am just dragging myself down. Stop.
Say that again. Wait, I feel like Oprah right now. That's like a tweetable moment. I am failing trying to live up to your standards.
Yeah.
Wait, I want everyone to take a deep breath there. Like that needs to be the billboard on the side of the highway. Stacia, that's brilliant. I am failing. I want all of my kids. I am going to make a sticker that says that. So have you ever seen these stickers? I'm going to pull one out right now.
Okay.
They're the "You Are Beautiful" stickers. Where do you live?
I live in the beautiful islands of Barbados.
Oh, maybe they haven't gotten to you yet. Maybe they have. Have you seen these?
No, I haven't seen those. No.
Okay. Well, this is true of you. It says "You are beautiful."
Thank you.
And it's this campaign. It's this very simple campaign. And it started with just this sticker. It says "You are beautiful." And there's stickers. People just get the stickers. They buy them and they put them all over. They the mailbox and the street signs, and and I have 100 of them, and I send them to people. And it's really just a positive affirmation, because I think we live in a world of negativity. And so it's a good reminder. And now it's like wood street signs. They're all over in all different forms and shapes. It's actually a friend of mine who started this movement many, many years ago. But I think I want to start a movement that says, say it again.
I'm failing living up to others' expectations. Yeah.
I love that. Because that is my addiction. And as mothers and as parents, isn't that like the biggest hook? Is like we're all trying to live up to everyone else's expectations. I'm looking out there. What are you doing? How are you doing it? How is it better? How are your kids better? How are you a better parent than me? How is my mother a better parent than me? Or and we don't just stay right here.
Another example that I could share is that I heard this story a while back, and it was a case where, I think it's in my country too, where there was this family line where a mother, she started out, she was doing her ham, in the olden days, and she cut the sides of her ham to go into the oven. And then that tradition was passed down to her daughter, and her daughter passed it down. But then it came down to, I guess, further along the line, and it was almost like this female challenge. Okay, so why am I cutting, or why did my mother, my grandmother, my great-grandmother cut the edges or the sides of the ham? Why am I doing this? And I don't know how they were able to talk to the great-grandmother, or whatever the case may be. But the thing was, she did it so that her ham could fit into her pan. I mean, you don't have to do that. You can buy a big enough pan for your ham. So I took to that tale. I took to that tale because you are doing it that way doesn't mean I have to do it that way. I have to find a way, because in your situation, which was I could not afford a bigger pan for my ham, so I had to cut the sides down. That's your situation. You adjusted to your situation. What's my situation? I have a big pan. Why am I cutting the ham? Why? Why am I doing it?
I love the alliteration.
Why am I? I have a big ham. Why am I cutting it? Right? So I mean, those things as I sit and I wonder, and there's too much, even social media, even though
don't even get me started.
It has its place, even with creating content. When I was looking, it was like, you need to do this, you need to post this many days, and you need to do this, and you have to do that. And I'm like, stop. I'm tired of all of you telling me what to do. I don't feel comfortable with any of this that you're doing. And I said, okay, God, if we're business partners, you have to help me with this one. And I sat down and I had a quiet time and we brainstormed, and I came up with my own social media plan that works for me, because I know I am not able to commit to every single day posting. That is nonsense. So I will not try to set myself up for that failure where I am going to start every single day and then can't commit. No.
You are such a gift to me today. I can't even tell you. You are the gospel I needed.
Yes.
Because I know, like, we know this. Like
we
up
do.
here, we know it, but then you, like, so often we still get sucked in because it's so hard. And then do you think about your kids, right? Like, first of all, you're a model. You're a beautiful model for your kids.
Thank you.
But I'm thinking about my 23-year-old son now, who, when he was applying for college, he went to a very like intense high school here in Chicago, where college was very important, and going to a very serious academic college was very important. And he that was not who he was, but he felt like he needed to fit into that. And I kept saying to him, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like, just be you, just be you. But it didn't, like, my voice was not strong enough to overcome the cultural voices and society. And he's like, you can say that all you want, but all day long, I'm hearing this. It's so loud. So do you think about, like, the example you're setting for your boys was just so beautiful, and you're so grounded, and they, thank God they have that, right, energy in the house. And but then they're going, there is the world. They still are exposed. So what do you teach them? What do you talk to them about? What do you hope for them?
I hope that they can make their own decisions. That's it for me, mainly, to make your decisions. Just don't follow others. Gather your information. Be informed. What suits you? That's our thing. Because others have, let's say, and I tell my boys, I'm not into brand. I am not into the brand names, the Gucci's, the Versace's, this kind of phone and the shoes. I'm not into that, because my value isn't there. Those things can poof and they're gone. What you can do is that you can, and I'm a creative also, so, you know, I kind of think different to others. So it's like, you have, let's say, a plain white t-shirt and a plain pants. Come up with your own style. How are you going to make this, you know, you, so that when others see you, that's your style. Sometimes, and let's be real, there are going to be persons that are going to laugh at you. Laugh. If you want to cry, come home, you can cry, get it out of your system. Try again. That didn't work, try again. And if you feel comfortable with the white shirt and the plain pants, and that's working for you, keep working it. Just keep working it. So my intention for them is be you also. Don't. Another example I have is when I was in school, and in our high school, we have this program where when you've reached a certain age, you have to choose the subject areas that you want to do. And I wanted to do art. I was all things art, loved art, very passionate about art. But when it came down to test time, I got one more mark in business studies than in art. And what they did to me was they pushed me into business studies rather than me following where I wanted to go. And that just crushed me. I didn't do as well as I should have, because my thing was, I was always looking over to the art rooms, you know, the art section. I wanted to do art. And I when it came now for my son's time to make that decision, I kept asking him, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
What do you want to do? Because when I force you to do what I want to do in terms of choosing your choice, making that choice for your life, that part, because I'm still the adult here. So, you know, there's some things that you will not have control over until you leave my house, right? But I gave him the option to choose your subjects. When you choose those subjects, those are the subjects that came from you and not from me. Because, hey, if I didn't allow you to choose the subjects that you wanted to do and you were doing something else I wanted you to do, you don't understand it, you're failing, then you're going to make me miserable, and then I'm going to be miserable, and the entire house is going to be miserable. Let's stop it right there. Let's stop it right there. You understand?
But it's, you know, it's really hard for parents to do that because we're so sucked into this idea that you need to have a particular, you need control. I mean, it's all about fear and control. And we live in a culture where, like, we want our kids to be happy and successful. We think we know the way. We think happy and successful is, oh, your marks are better in business, do business. And I heard your heart was calling for art. Like,
yeah, it was.
Heart was aching.
It was almost also coming as I progressed through adulthood. It was almost like a part of me was ripped away because I was spinning in circles. It is only, let's say, about 3 or so years ago that I started to get back into things. I even painted my wall. I mean, my pictures are a little slanted, but I painted my wall because, as I told my husband, this is just me. I just saw this blank canvas and I needed to do something with this. I couldn't leave it white. So it started to, you know, pull on me. So I'm back with the digital art now. I'm drawing. My son, he's also an artist also, you know, because he has that passion also. So I'm glad that I did not stifle his creativity, because once it's stifled, it kind of, you get frustrated and you send that energy somewhere else. And sometimes it's not good energy. You send it somewhere else.
I want you to speak to that a little bit, because I think that's a really important exclamation point, which is when you're stifled, that energy has to go somewhere, because we're energetic beings and we have to express ourselves. So if we're not expressing ourselves from our natural gifts and talents, and like, if we can't express what comes naturally to us, then we become stressed, anxious, angry. And what happens in parenting, and I teach this all the time to my parents, is like, anger is a sign. It is something we need to pay attention to, but we tend to go, oh, something's wrong. We have to fix them. They're bad for being angry, or so there's a problem over there. And so rather than getting curious about, oh, what's
making you angry?
What's the need underneath that? So you see that so naturally. How is it you come to, I don't know, this comes so easily to you? How is it that you see so clearly? What are some of your like daily mama practices that keep you centered and clear?
First thing, this mama has to have her time. Now, if this mama doesn't have her time, then everything is all chaotic and off balance. I remembered a lady said to me, maybe about, could be 10 years ago, she said, Stacia, do you put yourself first? And I was like, what are you talking about? I'm a mother. I don't put myself first. Your children go before you. And she was like, no, that's all wrong. When you don't take care of yourself, how are you then able to take care of others?
It's
so
true.
That shifted my mindset. So to be better for them, a better mother for my parents, I need to take care of myself. I can tell you, Annmarie, looking at me now, I look good now, but a couple of years ago, I was so stressed. You could see it in my face. My hair was not as healthy as it is now. My skin was a lot more darker and blotchy. I needed to take that time for myself. So I let them know, if you're not bleeding, if somebody's not, you know, a body part isn't hanging the way that it's not supposed to hang, you know, let mommy have her time. Just give me my time and we should be good. And after my time, then you come to me with your problems, because then I can't, when I'm all angry and flustered, I can't help you. You know, I need time to decompress. Then when you come to me, then I can think rationally, okay, this is your problem. Let me help you. And sometimes it's like, sometimes you need to figure out these things on your own too. I'm teaching you to be prepared for the world. I will not be there for you all the time. That's another expectation I had to release also, because the lady was like, oh my gosh, you have 4 children. How are you there for your 4 children all the time? I said, I'm not. I have 4 children. I can't be there realistically there all the time. So then I'm setting my children up for failure when I tell them, I'm going to be there for you every single time. No.
Yeah.
So they understand that. They understand that mommy is one person and there are 4 of us who also need their mother. So I'm trying to teach them there are certain circumstances that warrant, let me sit, let me breathe, let me think, let me make a decision. And of recent too, we've embraced failure, because that's another issue that persons don't, it's kind of taboo. Failure, who wants to fail? Who wants to fail? And I've seen failure now as a learning tool. Once you fail, let's look at what you failed. Not just look at failure as, oh my gosh, this is the end of the world. I did not pass this test. I did not get this due. Failure as a learning tool. Where can we go from there? Yeah, so it's not easy. It is not easy because with 4 children, we have 4 different personalities in here. 4 different personalities.
Always.
You know, somebody's anger could be one with rage and, you know, lashing out and throwing things, or where another person's anger is just like sitting in a corner crying. So once I have had my time, and it's not, I don't want to say it's all the time, but I need my time. Once I've had that time, I can think clearly. I can help you to help yourself make a decision. And that's very important as parents, whether you're a mother or a father. You cannot help your children if you are angry yourself, if you're frustrated, if you're flustered. Recognize your issues, your problems, ask for help if you need help, but you can't help others if you're all over the place.
I think that, you know, so I think you can speak beautifully to this, because we all, again, this is not new news, particularly for us as parents.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we know you have to fill your cup first. We're like, intellectually, we understand it. And then we wake up and we're on like, oh my God, I've got to get this done. Even today, like, we're really close to the holidays, and my daughter's coming and my stepson's coming and my stepdaughter's coming from out of town, and we have a wedding. And like, there's all these things going on. Mm-hmm. And I could catch myself getting out of bed in the morning going, you don't have time to meditate. You don't have time to do yoga. You don't have time. And there is that voice in my head. So you are a mother of 4 children. You are an entrepreneur with mm-hmm. your own, you know, parent academy. You're an early childhood educator. You have a classroom of students every day.
Yep.
So how do you deal with the temptation to let go of your self-care? Because I don't have time. How do you? Because if you make time, anyone can make time.
Well, like I said, the old me, if I could bring, I don't have any pictures here, but the old me, I didn't like how I looked. I didn't mm-hmm. like how I felt. And it was, again, in devotions and communication with God, it was like, I had enough. I had enough of how I was feeling. I had enough of what I was doing, and it didn't seem to work. I had enough of the whole day-to-day feeling stressed and like you said, when you get up on the mornings, I don't have enough time to do this. I don't have enough. I had enough. And it was almost like he said, okay, you had enough. What are you going to do about it?
Uh-huh.
What are you going to do? Are you, you know, there are choices. You always have a choice. So are you going to continue along the same path that you are doing? Like I said to you earlier, if this isn't working for you, stop it. Stop. Try something else. And it's like,
it's so simple. If it's not working for you,
it is not working, stop. So that's another thing that I had to deal with also. Like, let's say I have a certain routine on mornings, and that certain routine is causing me stress every morning to get the boys out to school. Stop. So right now I try to focus on, because our schedules were really awful in the beginning, when there was one car, the schedule of my husband going to work, that was awful. And again, I needed to understand the dynamics of that situation, then to put things in place to suit it. So now, instead of trying to do stuff on mornings, I try to put as many things as I can at night, but by a certain time, because my husband keeps telling me all the time, rest is important. And I mean, I thought that I could go to sleep at 12 and get up at 5 in the mornings and be awesome. No, try 10 o'clock to 5 on mornings and you are extra, super duper awesome. So it's like, okay, I felt this great going to sleep at 10, getting up at 5. Then I had my moment to myself because the boys were still asleep.
Oh, it's
This
the
is
best
awesome.
time. It's the best time.
Awesome. So now I try to get in my bed. Let's be realistic. 4 to 5 times a week by 10.
Yep.
By 10. So I changed this whole thing that I'm going to, because I'm a night person, so to speak, where when the boys are asleep, then I have my time to kind of drink my tea and settle. And maybe if there's cleaning to do in the house, I would do it. But the disadvantage to that is then that I get less sleep. I get up on mornings, I'm grumpy, then I start my day wrong, and then everything goes wrong, and then and I'm breathing and I'm stressed, and then I take it to work because I can tell you in the beginning stages, having dealt with the chaos at home, when I got to work, I was angry.
Of course.
I was angry. I'm like, okay, you got me to work late. You didn't get your bag packed on time. You didn't get out of the car on time. Oh my goodness, you don't have on your shoes. So I was angry, and I said, no. At the end of all of that, I said, enough is enough. I needed to make this change. And that's where it happened for me. I decided for myself, there needs to be a change. There needs to be a change.
Yeah. And again, I just want to come back because understanding there needs to be a change is very different than actually making the change. Mm-hmm. And it's like there's the wanting and seeing the need to the change, and then the willingness to actually make the change and commit to it, because it requires doing things differently. It requires taking responsibility. It requires maybe upsetting others. Like there's a lot of things that it requires to do that. So I just want to honor that knowing you need to make a change is just not the only piece here. That's your awareness. Like, all right, I want to do it differently. But then you actually have to make that commitment. And so I want to honor the fact that but you're willing to do both those pieces to get the results you want. Yeah. Look, it's paid off.
Yes. I've had enough. Had enough.
What a beautiful gift you're giving in modeling for your sons, because better than anyone, our kids do what we do, not what we say. And I always say the greatest gift we can give our kids is not parenting perfectly, but parenting authentically.
Yeah, sensibly too.
And sensibly. And if you're showing up authentically to yourself, your needs, if you're giving yourself the gift of creating space such that your highest and greatest self has room to evolve and expand and thrive, then they will eventually know how to do that just by watching. And so this whole thing that we have to go crazy giving our kids all the advantages, nuh-uh. The only thing we have to do is create the conditions for their thriving and show them how we got there ourselves. Yep. And I love that you're doing that.
Realistic as possible. That's my thing. I think there's nothing wrong with goals and dreams. That's very important. But I think we kind of focus too much on the goals and dreams, but then we don't come back to reality. If you get what I'm saying, because when you touch and feel this is your reality here. No, I want to be more balanced, but what am I doing to be more balanced? There are decisions that you need to make. Are you willing to commit? Are you willing to make this change? If this is not working for you, will you continue with it? So you have to say, I make decisions. And you can't make decisions in noise. You can't make it in the noise. So you have to
You can't make decisions in noise.
No, you can't make decisions in noise. Nope. So that's where my decision-making process happens, when I have my time. And my time
so do you meditate?
Yes. I'm doing it a lot more now.
You are?
Yeah. Doing it a lot more now, where I thought in the beginning for me, I thought with meditation, and again, it looks different for different people. I thought meditation was just, I talking to God, I write. And when I write, sometimes I just stay still, just stillness, just quiet, calm, feeling the breeze on my skin. Yeah. That is very therapeutic. Let me tell you. You understand? Nobody's crying in the background, mommy, or I need this, or I want that. That for me is the ultimate self-care, where I can just focus. That's it. That's what we need. There's so many, the world has so many distractions. And I know, let's say you have a formula that got you some kind of success, whether it's you've made $1 million or whatever the case may be. When I find that when the end goal, yes, I want to make $1 million, but your formula, as good as it was for you, maybe it will not work for me. What's my formula? How am I going to find out my formula? The only way I'm going to find out what's working for me is until I do what? Something.
Mm-hmm.
Don't just sit there.
It's kind of exciting when you think about it, like, ooh, what's my formula? Like, it's fun. It's like a puzzle.
What's mine? Yeah. So you go after it. And again, there's a kind of thin line where you can learn from others, but once you've stopped taking action in your life to scroll and just watch others, because I did a podcast, I think it was, yes, where I talked about comparing yourself to others, you procrastinate. And persons were like, I didn't look at it like that. Yeah, you spend so much time on social media looking at Annmarie, and oh my gosh, Annmarie has this, Annmarie has that. So while Annmarie is there doing her work, you're scrolling, looking at Annmarie, but you're not taking action in your own business to get you to the level where Annmarie is. Yeah, no.
That's the difference. That's the difference.
Taking action.
Because taking action, like you have a certain amount of time and energy, and where you place your energy matters, because where you put your attention grows. That's it. That is it. All right. So you said something earlier that you said, my Bible tells me seek what is, and I think you said counsel, or what was?
Seek wise counsel. Seek wise counsel. And wise counsel for me is, let's say you are knowledgeable in email marketing. So I wouldn't go to someone that doesn't know about email marketing, and try to hash out ideas about email marketing. I would go to you, again, the expert, ask some questions, get some of my curiosities answered, but then let my imagination kind of feed off of what you would have had.
Yes.
Because then the ideas, it's the same email marketing, but maybe I could put my spin on it, So it's not a case where I am just solely eating from what you're saying, but I've asked questions. I was able to formulate some kind of guideline for myself. But then, I sit and I take the time and I put me, Stacia, into what you would have told me. And then I come up with my own formula or framework. So you seek wise counsel to a certain extent where you don't know, do the research. Don't do too much, but just do enough that can open up your imagination to produce for yourself also.
Well, I love that. Okay, I'm writing this down. That opens up your imagination. First of all, let's just be clear. Stacia is not talking about seeking my counsel around marketing, because that would not be true.
Right.
But you're using that as an example, because I'm sitting here going, that is not, I don't know how to do that at all. But I really like this idea, because it is like we want to borrow from expertise of others, right? This is how we're so interconnected, and we share one another's gifts and talents because we learn from one another. So we plant seeds, and we let those seeds grow and then open up to our own creativity and our own expression. So I love that, seek wise counsel, because everyone has something to share for the common good of all. And I think what happens is we go over there and say, oh, she's better at that, I have to be like her, versus she's better at that, what can I learn from her, bring in and merge with me to be better myself? Not I have to be like that person over there.
Nope, because that's where your frustration is going to start. That's where your expectations are going to be warped, because then you start absorbing in your mindset, I need to be like her. I need to be like her, and seeing what she's doing. So I need to have what she's having, what she has, or what she's done, or it may not be acceptable to you and your situation or your season that you're in now. That's another thing. Your seasons are different.
Oh my God, your seasons are different, and just be in your own season. And I think the big takeaway right now is, like, be aware of what season you're in, when you're in it, and accept yourself for that, and just allow yourself to grow at your own pace.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. This is my race, and I'm running it at my pace.
Do you have a bunch of quotes sitting next to you that you're just reading?
I don't. I'm sorry. No, I don't. I'm just more aware of myself. It's like almost this journey that I know I found myself. So once I've found myself and I'm comfortable with myself, it's like, yes, it can work. It can work.
Okay. So thank you for giving me your time and your incredibly great wisdom. I've taken like a million notes. This is your race.
Welcome.
Run at your own pace. I love that one.
Yes.
So where can people find you? Would you tell me a little bit about your side hustle and what you're doing, so people who want to know more about you and can, play with you?
Sure, no problem.
Yeah.
I am a parent entrepreneur coach where I help busy parent entrepreneurs, whether you're toddlers or you have babies, you have teenagers, wherever, how many ever children you have. I help you to balance your building your business while raising your families. And I am 100% the product of being a parent entrepreneur. So I know the frustrations. I know them too well. And I've proven for myself that you can have balance. You can have balance. Some people are saying, no, it's never going to happen. It's not going to happen. You can. And I've had it for myself. And I just wanted to share it with others. So you can find me on social media at Stacia Archer Clark, where we can connect there and we can talk some more, or you can hit me up on my website, which is www.staciaarcherclark.com. You can find me there. But I help busy parent entrepreneurs, or even if you have a 9-to-5 job like myself. Yes, I have a 9-to-5. I have my entrepreneurial side job, and I have my family to raise. So it's doable. And I just want to help others out there to understand that you can do it.
I believe you.
You can do it.
Yeah, I believe you. I'm still trying to figure it out. So
it can happen.
Thank you so much. It was so fun to talk to you.
You are welcome. You are welcome.